In this series, Jujutsu sorcerers and cursed spirits use a variety of techniques to fight. Each attack is unique and showcases the incredible abilities of its user. Today, we'll explore 6 of these powerful techniques, understanding their impact and the strength they bring to battles in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Anyway, before we begin, please press the like button and please subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any daily uploads. 6th place on our list is Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder is an extension technique of the Angels and Hana technique extinguishment. The Angel and Hana Kurusu used Jacob's Ladder in an attempt to strip Sukuna from Megumi Fushiguro's body. The King of Curses was still early into the incarnation process, and the Angel was willing to risk Megumi's life in order to eliminate the disgraced one. After showering Sukuna in light, Hana summoned a 4-winged trumpet and recited a brief incantation. Hana put the trumpet to her mouth and activated Jacob's Ladder at maximum cursed energy output. Jacob's Ladder produced a massive pillar of all-purifying light that completely engulfed Sukuna. 5th place on our list is Sukuna's Divine Flames. Fans have seen this fire arrow before in Shibuya as well on 2 occasions. The first time he used it was against Jogo, and he was able to completely incinerate him to a crisp. Later on, Sukuna came face to face with the Divine General, and once again he utilized this power to burn the Divine General to a crisp, defeating him in the process. In JJK chapter 258, Sukuna brought out the Divine Flames once again, and this time around, they were targeted at the sorcerers around him. However, utilizing these Divine Flames was not as easy for Sukuna as one would have thought. In fact, there was a very valid reason as to why Sukuna could not use these flames earlier. In JJK chapter 259, it was confirmed that in order for Sukuna to access the Divine Flames, he has to first utilize the power of Cleave and Dismantle. Once he does that, only then can he access the Divine Flames and start the process of cooking. This makes quite a lot of sense. The fact that Sukuna's domain is truly a malevolent kitchen, where he is the chef and he chops things up and cooks with his fire. It was confirmed in JJK chapter 259 that Sukuna's Divine Flames are his ultimate technique and the strongest one that he has in his arsenal. However, the way they work is rather complicated. Sukuna's Divine Flames also lack speed, and at the same time, they have a very narrow range. As such, they are not ideal to utilize against individuals who can escape its range. Naturally, this wouldn't have worked against the sorcerers. Because of that, Sukuna had to make a binding vow, which meant that he could only target multiple people inside of his domain, and that outside, it was limited to one individual. Inside the domain, he could incinerate just about everything in the surroundings. It is safe to say that Sukuna's Divine Flames are truly overpowered. Nearly all individuals inside his domain likely die when he utilizes this technique. However, that is not to say that this technique cannot be countered. Sukuna's Divine Flames were in fact countered by Choso in this chapter, even though it was unleashed at its full power. Choso used a blood barrier to coat Yuji's body with it, and Yuji successfully survived without even a single burn on his body. Of course, Choso ended up dying himself, and this is likely due to the fact that he used his remaining powers to protect Yuji. The fact is, the Divine Flames, despite being very powerful, can be countered. At the same time, fans should also keep in mind that individuals such as Gojo could easily counter a technique like this, which is another reason why Sukuna never utilized it in the battle against him. That said, the majority of the world of JJK would fall to the power of the Divine Flames, as they erase all forms of life altogether. Had Tado not moved the sorcerers outside Sukuna's domain, they would most certainly have died right there and then, which just goes to show that this technique is worthy of all the praise. 4th place on our list is Perfect Sphere. Under normal circumstances, a perfect sphere is thought to be impossible to create. Yorozu is able to do so by shaping it from liquid metal. A true sphere has no contact area and generates infinite pressure as a result, making it untouchable. Think of a perfect sphere like the Stand Cream from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If anything touches it, they would basically get disintegrated or erased. Similarly, a perfect sphere would exert infinite pressure, making it difficult to understand in a practical sense. From a mathematical standpoint, A perfect sphere would have an infinitely small area of contact, which would result in infinitely large pressure onto its target. However, this concept is more theoretical than practical, making it challenging to comprehend in a real-world scenario. Third on our list is Hollow Purple. This technique is created when the repulsive forces of red are combined with attractive forces of blue, bringing forth imaginary mass. The user launches the imaginary mass at their target, which deals extensive destructive damage on contact, far superior to red and blue. A blast of purple can destroy a city, carve through a forest, or disintegrate critical sections of an individual's body depending on its deployment. If its power is left completely unchecked, it can even damage the caster. Even so, sorcerers can negate these effects. The magnitude of cursed energy funneled into bodily reinforcement helps protect against purple. During the climax of the fight between Gojo and Sukuna, Gojo concluded his only way to defeat Sukuna and the Divine General was with purple. He improvised amid the fight, combining blue and red after the two orbs had been fired off separately. Gojo chanted the incantation for purple's activation as the two infinities collided, resulting in an imaginary mass that carved through Shinjuku. Purple was released as an omnidirectional explosion rather than a directional blast, decimating a massive part of Shinjuku, disintegrating the Divine General, and heavily damaging Sukuna. Second on our list is the World-Cutting Slash. First, we got a glimpse of the World-Cutting Slash in Chapter 234. Here, the Divine General uses this technique to slice Gojo's arm, indicating that it can bypass Gojo's infinity, which is normally an impenetrable defense. This scene leaves everyone stunned, because it means the Divine General's attack can adapt to and overcome even Gojo's strongest shield. Next, in Chapter 236, Sukuna himself uses this slash to deliver a final blow, slicing his opponent with devastating precision. Then in Chapter 238, we see Sukuna wielding this technique against Kashimo. We can piece together some understanding of how this technique works. In Chapter 246, Kusakabe reveals more details about Sukuna's slash. He explains that Sukuna's world-cutting slash is an advanced form of his dismantle technique. It's a long-range slashing attack that doesn't require physical contact with the target. Sukuna can extend the reach of his slash by either making a binding vow or charging up his cursed energy. This allows him to cut through a specific area, not just an individual. To understand Sukuna's slash better, we need to consider his two main techniques, Dismantle and Cleave. Dismantle is Sukuna's basic slashing attack. He can release a slash that travels through the air, cutting through anything in its path. He can control the direction and shape of the slash, making it curved or straight, narrow or wide. He can also unleash multiple slashes at once, creating a barrage that covers a large area. Cleave, on the other hand, is a bit more specialized. Unlike Dismantle, Cleave can be adjusted based on the opponent's toughness and barriers by changing the cursed energy output. It's designed to cut precisely through what's needed. A question might arise. Why doesn't Sukuna just increase his cursed energy output to match Gojo's infinity and cut through it? The answer lies in understanding Gojo's infinity. It's not just a barrier. It manipulates the space around Gojo, making him untouchable. To start, Sukuna's world slash isn't limited to just cutting individuals or objects. He can extend this to target space itself. By doing this, he can cut through everything within that space, regardless of its form or size, making it almost impossible to defend against. However, this doesn't mean Sukuna can cut through space-time. Space-time is the fabric that connects space and time, and altering it would mean changing the laws of physics and creating paradoxes. Sukuna's slash doesn't do that. It only cuts through the space within the bounds of reality, without affecting the time or the events in that space. This world-cutting slash technique isn't something Sukuna developed on his own. He learned it from the Divine General, a being that can adapt to any cursed technique by changing the essence of its own cursed energy. Despite its power, the world-cutting slash has limitations. In Chapter 238, Sukuna uses a specific chant before releasing his slash and warns Kashimo to look out. Kashimo somewhat manages to escape the slash, indicating that if opponents know it's coming and have time to evade, they can avoid it. This raises the question, does Sukuna need to charge up his cursed energy with chance to use his slash, Or is it a choice he makes? In Chapter 247, Sukuna uses his dismantle technique with another specific chant: Scale of the Dragon, Recoil, Twin Meteors, Dismantle against Heguruma. This suggests he might need to charge up by chanting to use the world-cutting slash. Sukuna may have made a binding vow to use his world-cutting slash, imposing a condition on himself, such as reciting a chant. In return, he gains benefits like increased power or range of the slash. This would explain why he always follows these rituals before using his slash and never uses it without them. To sum up, Sukuna's world-cutting slash is one of the most incredible and mysterious techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen. Number 1 on our list is a technique that can literally destroy the world: Maximum Black Hole. Yuki's innate technique allows her to grant virtual mass to herself and her Shikigami Garuda. The mass added to Yuki and Garuda's attacks give them devastating destructive force, capable of effortlessly exercising a special grade curse. Near the end of her fight with Kenjaku, Yuki realized that she had no avenue to attain victory after sustaining a fatal wound. Subsequently, she struggled to put together a last-ditch attempt to take down the ancient curse user by pushing her technique to its absolute limit. By continuously adding gargantuan amounts of mass to her body, Yuki was able to generate a sense of gravitational force, which culminated in her body becoming the focal point of a gravitational singularity, turning it into a black hole. Although this was a desperate course of action to take, it demonstrated the near-boundless potential of Star Rage in the hands of a seasoned user when pushed to its absolute limit. However, there was also a critical drawback to using Star Rage, which could be observed in Yuki's battle against Kenjaku. If the user has sustained serious injuries, they will not be able to build up momentum for physical attacks as effectively, which limits their application of the technique to a great extent. Finally, if a user's cursed energy is depleted, either by using domain expansion or reverse curse technique, it will decrease the potency of Star Rage. Anyway, please press the like button and please subscribe to my channel and turn on all post notifications so you don't miss any daily uploads.